Look at us. Official capital J journalists. We're reporting on the scene.
Look at this.
Look, I got a notepad. I don't remember. I haven't written anything.
It's got like 6 pages of notes in here.
Look at this.
Handwritten.
Let's first of all, gotta get the doodle of the. We gotta get the official court drawing.
Yeah, let's just hold that up to the camera. That's Jack's official illustration right there. I'll get it in focus. That's what the courtroom looked like.
There we go.
It's exactly what it looked like. Good job, Jack.
Thank you. I'm very proud of it. And then we did what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 pages of notes. Where yesterday we showed up to the courthouse and didn't. I mean, there was no hearing. It got postponed to today, so it was a big old fat waste of time. This one didn't get the answers we were looking for. I think every Kentucky fan, if you're just looking for, the big answer, let's get Mark Mitchell wearing a Kentucky uniform by the end of the next week. That's not happening. The official answer that we got today that the plaintiffs were looking for were an immediate transfer portal window that were to close by Tuesday. That is not happening. There was no immediate ruling from the bench. The judge, essentially, Judge Brian Edwards, asked for all additional opinions or additional notes to be submitted in writing by Tuesday for him to form an opinion by the end of next week. So at the absolute earliest, we're going to be looking at an end of next week, which definitely becomes problematic when looking at the timeline for all of this with the student athletes trying to get enrolled and starting classes because classes are starting.
The football guys on that in the same
Yes.
lawsuit also.
So problematic in that regard. In terms of the arguments on both sides, what did you hear today, Steven, in terms of your confidence in how this will ultimately be ruled on by Judge Brian Edwards?
Well, we talked with one of the plaintiffs here just a few minutes ago. The argument that they're walk me through this a little bit too, because I didn't go to law school like Jack did. I'm not a law expert, but I felt like that.
We're two bozos talking about this. We
this
have
is what
no
makes this so ridiculous.
It's
yeah,
ridiculous. I doodle. I drew a stupid doodle while we did. So bear with us.
No, I thought originally I was thinking.
I was a lawyer, not a plaintiff, by the way. But
the lawyer, my bad. Yeah. Representing the plaintiffs, right? Okay. So what I thought that like he makes a good argument in that, for one, the 5 years for anyone who was 18 or 19 when they started their college career, is that right? College playing days.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean that kind of made sense to me. I know that when the NCAA got up there or their lawyers got up there to defend the NCAA, there was a few things. What was the car analogy that he used?
We got two car. You left to go out into the.
Okay, we can take our phones in.
We got a two. Yeah, so that's why we had to do all this by hand. There were two car analogies by both sides. The NCAA's argument is if you go to a dealership and purchase a car for $15,000. You drive it off the lot, and then the next day somebody else goes to the dealership and buys the same vehicle for $10,000. That doesn't mean that the original purchaser for $15,000 deserves any type of change because
Is that perfectly analogous to what we're talking about here? I just thought we spent a lot of time on it. What was the other one? Was there a rebuttal to that?
So yeah,
okay. Let's go through the notes.
The plaintiff's side, their argument, this is just ridiculous. I got to find my. So, like a car, there was a Supreme Court case where a car made outside of this state was defected and caused an accident, but that doesn't make that still means that just because it happened in a state outside of where the manufacturer created the car doesn't mean that the manufacturer is no longer responsible for what they caused, the accident that they caused, and the defects. So their argument was, forget the car. It's your car is a lemon, is what they're saying, and it's like you're still responsible for the lemon and whether the rules are changing and what have you. So
well, I thought that the argument about the reason that it was being done in Kentucky. I don't know. What did you think? I thought it kind of a weak argument that it was like, well, if they played even against Kentucky or against Louisville or against Murray State got a shout out today in the courtroom, that there were injuries, right? Isn't that the argument that?
And so yes, they suffered irreparable harm by being, connected to this past season or previous seasons in
Mark
Jefferson
Mitchell
County-
did play in Kentucky. It seemed like there were some injuries there.
That's definitely a sticking point with all of this. But I thought it was interesting. The NCAA, their biggest priority was just to kick the can down the road. They want as much time as possible to gather. One of the attorneys even in there said, we just need more time. I just got thrown into this case. I don't know enough about it to feel super confident about it. We need our national counsel in here, that they do this for a living and that they are, on top of all of this. We just need extra time to get to that point, whether it's in September or whatever. We'd rather that than, have an immediate ruling. Just don't make an immediate ruling right now. And the other side was saying, classes are starting, guys.
Yeah.
Like football season is here. Classes are starting. We don't have time to work with. We have to, now. We have to make this happen right now. And they also argued that, in the past, Charlie Baker wanted to, make an announcement on the Save College Sports Act and have, immediate action, called for immediate, sent a tweet that said, it's long past time for leaders to call for an immediate passage of the Safe College Sports Act. Their argument is, well, why is it okay when it's immediate for you guys whenever you decide to change rules? Said back in June, we didn't even get all of the paperwork in until June 23rd when you guys announced these changes. You announced them in April, but we didn't get to actually see the paperwork until they actually went through the day after June 23rd or whatever it was. So it's okay for you guys to act quickly on things, but whenever we say, hey, we got school to get to, we got to enroll in these classes, it's not okay for us, and you need more time. So it was definitely a race against the clock for both sides.
I thought that the one of the stronger arguments was that as these guys came in, of course they had to deal with all the COVID stuff, not just COVID restrictions as they were leaving high school, coming into college, and all the recruiting stuff that could have been affected there, but also that the roles were changing while they were in school. People were being given an extra year. JUCO guys were given an extra year. I think that's one of the stronger arguments that they made today against the NCAA, and there were several, I thought, strong arguments that they were making. I just don't, both you and I came out of that going I don't know. I mean, I don't know how good of a sign it was today. I don't know how well that went in terms of. I'm just being really blunt here, being very selfish. I mean, I only care about one player. I just want, if you can get a guy like Mark Mitchell, obviously it changes a lot for expectations for Kentucky. So I came away with that being oof, I don't know. I came into today thinking it'll work itself out. How much more confident or less confident are you after today?
I'm still relatively confident, just because we have a precedent set with some of these other states going through, and a lot of the arguments made today, they were bouncing back to the Colorado case, bouncing to the Ohio case, hey, that's go read that case, go look at South Carolina, look at some of these others that they are also ruling in our favor. We're just kind of joining in on the total statewide mission, nationwide mission against the NCAA that kind of overlaps with Colorado's ruling, but also not really. NCAA, one of their bigger arguments today about why it was I think for the first time we heard why the NCAA's position on why is it important to leave out the class of 2022. So one of the main arguments made by the other side is, why everything before up to this point has been as many years as possible, red shirts and waivers and whatever. Why is it okay for those guys to have COVID years and get all the extra eligibility? And then this point forward, everybody beyond this point, they will have 5 years to play 5. And, whether you get hurt, whether you get sick, whether you have a hardship back home, whatever the case is, you got 5 to play 5. Why is this specific class excluded from that? And their side was someone else is going to, we had to draw the line in the sand somewhere.
So somebody's going to be left out.
Somebody's going to get left out, but we move forward with this saying that, all of the walk-ons that signed on for positions on these rosters, all of the new recruits, high school recruits, even some of these portal additions, they made these decisions on their roster and what their role was going to be, how much NIL money they were going to make, all of those things. They made those decisions with our with these rules in place. So you can't, by impacting these 2022 kids, you're also impacting everybody else that made decisions based on the new rules.
Which I get, but that's up to the coaches whether they what did they promise those kids, right? I mean, that doesn't change what the coaching staff is going to do. So, I mean, like, those kids could leave after that year. They also get 4 more years after this. I get that argument. At the same time, though, I mean, you're talking about how many players? Like dozens? Is it? I mean, how many are really going to be affected? How many rising freshmen, those guys coming into college for the first time, how many of them will be affected? And most of them already got their NIL deals. So I don't think anyone's going to go, oh, wait, we got Mark Mitchell. Let's get freshmen. Let me get your money back. Let me get my money back.
Peak earning capacity was thrown around very often by.
Check this.
We good?
We got like 90 seconds. You good?
Oh, okay. Yeah, but they were saying, it's an unreasonable and unfair position. The need for immediate relief is there because school is starting, but the issue is, these student athletes need this extra year of money because this is their peak earning capacity for them. Mark Mitchell will never make more money in his career potentially than what he would
Possible.
make it, next season in Kentucky. So that was one of the other bigger talking points. Do we think do we predict that by the end of next week, by Friday, Mark Mitchell is in the transfer portal and available to?
Yeah, why not? I mean, like you said, that's kind of what I asked you earlier. I mean, it'd be weird that this would be the one that the NCAA wins, right? And that's kind of how I feel. So I think, but it does like stink that we have to delay this because we're not known as like the most like patient fan base. Jack, I don't know if you paid attention.
No, we are most certainly not. So Tuesday, get all the facts in, additional arguments in, and then by the end of the week, we should get an opinion by Judge Brian Edwards. We'll see what happens. We learned a lot, but we didn't get many of the answers that Kentucky fans were necessarily looking for. So that part's a little frustrating, but hey, it's all right.
I know a little bit more about law now. That's fun.
A little bit. Still, we're not experts in the slightest, and we kind of stink at talking about this, but hey, we're working through it. The more opportunities we have to talk about it, the more well-versed we'll be. So for Jack, for Steven, for nobody behind the camera, but this beautiful backdrop. I mean, how about shout out